Hello everybody, and today we're going to be watching this furry Noah's Ark video. So kick back and relax or get some popcorn or something. This is, I swear to God, if you think inappropriate for this, something is wrong with you. But let's get in 3, 2, 1. Oh wait, let's go.
You are so witty, such fun.
If only we could spend a little more time together.
Especially at night.
What the hell?
Exactly, like, what? This is supposed to be for kids, and you doing this? Really?
And you all thought that Sheep and Wolves was a weird video. Let me tell you folks about Al Arca de Noah, otherwise known as Noah's Ark 2007. Off the bat, you can tell that this movie is very different compared to every other Noah's Ark movie out there, which is a surprising amount to be honest. And they all have a broad range in flavor. You got cute and cartoony, comedy, action fantasy, but this one stands out for a very special reason. Instead of having exclusively normal animals, you have some that are anthropomorphic. And I mean really anthro. Full-on legs, hips, and chest. You can tell that the people who made this movie really enjoy their busty cat girls.
I wanna outlive you, dear. Don't try to run. I wouldn't bother.
Outside of the character designs, the most interesting thing about the film is that it's not terrible. I'm so used to reviewing stuff that's absolute trash, but I wouldn't put this movie in that category. I mean, it's not perfect, but there's some talent that went into this film, and I think that it's worth talking about, especially since a certain family-friendly company has ties to it. Can you guess which one? That's right. Looks like Mickey Mouse is more of a furry than we originally thought. Buena Vista International is a section of Disney that distributes films, and that's the case here for Noah's Ark. And it goes even further. Disney actually bought the production studio that made this film back in 2007. So, technically, Disney owns the movie too. Not all of it, but some of it. The studio behind the movie goes by the name of Patagonic Film Group and is stationed out of Argentina. They were founded in 1996 and are behind quite a few movies, such as Condor Cruise and The Hairy Tooth Fairy.
You insist on keeping children's excitement alive? And sooner or later, they grow up. And everyone knows what the grown-ups do, right? They poison us.
Like the Sheep and Wolves movie, we see anthropomorphic characters at play here, which is the most unique element about the movie. I don't think I've ever seen this premise before with a Noah's Ark story, but I feel that they really don't do anything with it. Like, you have some anthro animals, but they just come across as sexually charged, and that's it. I feel that they could have done so much more, but nope. Also, the animals and their designs are all over the place. There's actually a scene where you have an anthropomorphic bull right next to an actual bull, and it doesn't make any sense. The last thing about this movie that stands out is that it has a censored version. The original came out in 2007 and features quite a few mature jokes that range from sex to drug use. In 2014, a version of the movie was released on DVD via Shout Factory, and it was toned down. The best part about this is reading the reviews for the movie on Amazon. You have all of these upset Christian families who thought that they bought a cute movie for their kids.
This is a terrible movie that I would have never purchased had I seen better previews. The title makes you think the story has a Christian outline, however, is more of a joke upon the true story of Noah and the flood.
You'd be better off with Veggie Tales. Trust me on this.
There were animals kissing, provocative female characters, references to sex, God was lethargic and bugged by having to tend to Noah, there were human stowaways on the ark.
This movie is absolutely terrible, and I can't imagine who the intended audience was supposed to be. It's not cute, funny, amusing, clever, or in any way close to being historically accurate.
friend sent me the DVD, but it was the clean version. I tried my best to find a high-quality version of the original, but this was the best I could find. Just like my Son of Aladdin video, I had to re-edit the movie to include the mature jokes. I mean, it's the best part of the film, and it's the main reason why I'm reviewing this in the first place. So, let's check it out.
I'll be back in a minute, darling. Oh.
We start off with an intro that is very quick-paced. When I first saw this, I couldn't figure out what was going on. Why was it so fast? What's even happening? But according to a source, each character on the screen represents one of the 7 deadly sins. Pride, envy, sloth, lust, gluttony, wrath, and greed. But really, I wouldn't have known this unless someone pointed it out to me. Like, connecting the dots here is quite the stretch, especially for kids. What's that, Timmy? You don't know your 7 deadly sins? Well, let us show you. We then find ourselves in the marketplace with our friends from the last scene. After that, we're introduced to God and one of his angels as they walk the streets and see how bad humanity has gotten.
Look at what they've done with the world. A storehouse of evil and greed. We had better deal with this at its
God is black at this.
Forgive me for saying this, but when you talk about the end of the world, I get this knot in my throat.
I think a bunch of hookers were just winking at God.
Be gone, sucks!
By the way, I like what they did with God in this movie. It's definitely a unique design, with him being dark-skinned and large. Most God interpretations are the same, so this was refreshing. His voice, though,
We shall see. There still may be some hope for them.
We then meet Noah. We learn that he's a good guy who is kind and optimistic. His family, though, not so much.
We will always be fine if we stay together, like we are. A family. Yes, one big family.
What do you mean your father got into debt again and to free a slave, no less?
Silence!
None of his sons really believe in him, and especially his daughters-in-law.
If it is a question of age, Japhet is the
But
eldest.
first, Noah must be dealt with.
And for some reason, they all have really wacky accents. You get a southern drawl, some kind of British accent, and then someone from New York.
Moisten can take charge of it just as well as he can.
Noah's wife is a bit better, but I swear, there's a scene in the movie where she tries to break up with him.
Noah, all through our marriage, I've been loyal to you in every way. This you know better than anyone. But sometimes I feel that perhaps we're on different paths, and we don't realize that...
But Noah is called by God and is told to build an ark.
I'm going to send a flood.
Did you say a flood?
Yes, a torrential rain that will flood everything.
I know what a flood is, Lord.
Noah's family learns about the flood, and I gotta say, I love how his wife responds to everything.
Father said he spoke with God today in the forest.
Really? And what did he say?
That he was going to send down a flood.
A flood, you say?
Yep, a torrential rain that will flood everything.
I know what a flood is, Japhet. So that means we're all going to die.
So Noah gets to work on the ark and sells his home to these side characters.
Finally, a summer house. And in exchange for a handful of pigeons.
I really don't care for these two. They stick around for the remainder of the movie and get into pointless shenanigans.
Like my grandfather used to say, if at first you don't succeed, cheat again. Poor soul. His partner killed him.
Oh, really? What a pity.
Something that I like about this movie is how the flood is a way for God to make his Bible more interesting. As in, he feels that his book isn't as exciting as other religious texts. And I think that's hilarious.
Look at this. It's Buddha's book. It has wonderful pictures. And this one is in Chinese. It's got more than 800 pages. And just look at the cover. So, when will ours be ready?
Well, sir, we're just at the beginning.
They're the first chapters.
At this point, you're probably wondering when the anthropomorphic characters are gonna show up. Well, right now. And it hits you like a slap to the face.
Oh, God.
This is the first scene that I had to edit into the clean version of the movie. I think it's pretty obvious why they left it out. After this scene, the pace picks up, and it's a roller coaster of animals.
I know y'all saw that, and that's supposed to be for kids, really? Your kids don't want to. I know they don't want to see no chicken doing that. Really, no. Man, Disney. I forgot that other company.
We are then introduced to our main character, Prince Zero. He's getting a massage from what I can only conclude is a gay orangutan.
What's this? It looks like a letter. Oh no. It's more like junk mail. They just don't know what to do to get people's attention. But don't you worry about a thing. Just relax your muscles.
This scene was also left out of the movie. I guess someone touching your butt is inappropriate. But this is a problem, as there's an important part of the story here. You see, Zero only gets half of the message, and he's under the impression that the Ark is some kind of cruise for couples. He has no idea that the world is ending. They leave this part out of the clean version because I don't know. I guess him talking about multiplying was too much for the censors, even though that is the reason why the animals are going onto the Ark in the first place.
To learn to love each other and multiply, yeah! Woohoo!
So yeah, the clean version of the film leaves out this important plot point. Zero is supposed to be confused in the original story, but in the censored version, he comes across as negligent and cruel.
Listen to me. If I'm not on that Ark when it sets sail, I swear, Dad, I shall never forgive you.
A quick side note. I love that the gay orangutan, who looks a lot like King Louie, was picked for the Ark. That's absolutely hilarious to me. Talk about a logistical oversight.
And you're coming too, right?
But of course. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
But isn't this a couples thing?
Haven't you met her? Lily!
So the animals all meet up to talk about the Ark and what's happening. There is so much to take in from this scene. First off, some of these animals who showed up to this meeting are gonna be disappointed, cause they aren't going on the Ark. I see at least, 5 elephants in this audience. So the Lion King tells the other animals about the Ark, and how they were invited by mankind to send 2 of each creature onto the boat.
No.
Oh yeah, Asia, if you're watching this, I just wanna say I love you, Rihanna. I know you hate me, so please don't get mad, cause you're my best friend. Sorry.
Has gotten in touch with.
Oh yeah, what's up, Ryan? And Elijah and Alejandro and other friends I have, like Love You Mangle. Love You Mangle. I love everybody that I have for my friends on YouTube, though. They're all my friends and my girlfriend.
Us. He is inviting us to board his Ark. An Ark constructed to save us from a flood.
We then have this wonderful scene where we see some mythical creatures who say they don't believe in Noah, and that they think that this is some elaborate trick to hunt them down.
Man has always been our natural enemy. Let's not be naive. If you respond to this call, you will surely find your heads hung over a mantelpiece next winter.
Something else worth noting here are the animal designs themselves. We have creatures that look like actual animals. We have creatures that look like animals but walk like humans. And then we have creatures that are straight up human-animal hybrids. The designs are all over the place, and it's somewhat off-putting and confusing.
You will only survive by helping each other and following a strong leader.
So then we have another scene that was left out of the censored version of the film. Zero is complaining to his parents that none of his girlfriends he picked are going on the ship with him.
All of my suggestions have been rejected.
There must be a good reason.
Of course there is. Would you like to hear them? Newbie. Big boobs, no brains. Bruma. Too thin, no brains. Niebla. Too hippie, too busty, and no brains.
God, this movie. So the animals are heading to the Ark,
God.
and Zero is traveling with the girlfriend he wanted. They aren't even at the boat yet, and they're already getting busy. Along with them is an assistant named Kyrell.
Didn't they say couples only?
Precisely. They said couples, not a third wheel, you know.
Let's just pause here for a moment. Check out these character designs. This girl has the largest hips I've ever seen on a character.
Oh,
then we got
God.
this girl who has a melon-shaped head. Ugh, it looks awful. And she doesn't even know what impeachable means.
Out of respect for the person who accompanies her, I shall abstain from formulating a reply to a wholly unimpeachable woman.
What? What? Oh, look, I was very young. I didn't know what I was doing. Besides, my private life is just that, private. Aren't you going to say anything? She's insulting me.
Noah finally completes the arc. Censored version of the film. Down.
You respond to the good reason.
Of course there is. Would you like to hear them? Newbie. Big boobs, no brains. Bruma. Too thin, no brains.
We don't need that.
Niebla. Too hippie, too busty, and no brains.
God, this movie. So the animals are heading to the Ark, and Zero is traveling with the
Oh,
girlfriend he
God.
wanted. They aren't even at the boat yet, and they're already getting busy. Along with them is an assistant named Kyrell.
Is
Didn't
this
they say
smoking?
couples only?
Precisely. They said couples, not a third wheel, you know.
Let's just pause here for a moment. Check out these character designs. This girl has the largest hips I've ever seen on a character. Then we got this girl who has a melon-shaped head. Ugh, it looks awful. And she doesn't even know what impeachable means.
Out of respect for the person who accompanies her, I shall abstain from formulating a reply to a wholly unimpeachable woman.
What? Oh, look, I was very young. I didn't know what I was doing. Besides, my private life is just that, private. Aren't you going to say anything? She's insulting me.
Noah finally completes the
Are
arc.
they smoking in the kids
Good
movie?
Lord, is it?
Well, I might as well not say nothing about smoking in the kids movie because people, like Disney back in the day, had a freaking cigar that, not Boris. I want to think of Bendy and the Ink Machine. Bruce, I think his name is Bruce. From the old Mickey Mouse cartoons, he would smoke a cigar.
Impressive. The people who made this model also feel the same way,
Alright.
because we spend the next minute.
She said, now go to sleep, bro.
Alright, leave me alone. Alright, guys, we'll stop here. My head! We'll stop here for today. Hope you liked the video.
Let me get back on.
Goodbye.